The Surgeon by Francis XYZK. Chapter 1, Page 1. Hello. My name is Tanya. I'm an 18-year-old only child. Tanya isn't my real name. I'm using it as a pseudonym to protect my identity. My name is false, but my story is sadly fact. I apologize for the direct and simple of my writing. I need to tell you this quickly. You see, I'm not allowed to be online. I'm taking a risk here. I began 3 years ago when I was a carefree 15-year-old. Everything was going good. Life was sweet. Being an only child, I never wanted for anything. Mom and Dad indulged me. I noticed a shift in my parents' relationship, though. Increased bickering, more silences, attention between them. But I wasn't worried. I was worried about until I was too late. My father abducted me. It wasn't the classic snatched kind of abduction, either. I went with him willingly. He told me we were going on a holiday to Europe, and Mom would follow a week later when she had finished work. It made sense. I've since learned that this trip had been years in the planning. I've literally vanished. My missing person pictures are still running on milk cartons and posters back home. I'll never be found, unless I give myself up. Even if I did that, I doubt anyone would believe my story. It's beyond comprehension. My father and I landed somewhere in Eastern Europe. We traveled by hire car through a large and chaotic city, which gave way to rustling highways and then small, winding country roads. We passed through tiny villages and dense dark woodland. The road became narrower as the landscape became even more remote. My unease began to grow. As dark as the trees that surrounded us, I noted the signal on my phone vanished as we climbed even higher. At some point, I remember saying, "Dad, this is really creepy." When he didn't answer me, I was hit with a cold blast of fear. Suddenly, I was frightened of my own father. And where was he taking me? We arrived at a place that was almost interpentadal. A down and even a 4x4 would have made it. The main house was an ancient stone building, covered almost entirely in creepy growths of every time. It reeked of old age and secrets. Smaller, equally destructive buildings lay sprawled out upon their isolated place. As my father walked with a knowing stride toward the front door, I released with another shot of fear. He'd most certainly been here before. I can't recall much of my first week in isolation. My father locked me in one of those smaller outhouses, visiting me 3 times a day with meals and medication. The medication made me feel weird, confused, scared. I continually asked for a reason. Was I sick? He gave me no answers. My father was perfectly pleasant to me. I even thought he seemed excited. He had these sudden bursts of embrace, like the kind an expectant kid had the night before Christmas. Then the surgeon arrived. My father and the surgeon explained what was going to happen to me with a cold detachment. I had no choice in the matter. 'Twas my father's wish, his dream, and he would have his realist at all costs. My father took great pride in reminding me that the surgeon was highly experienced and respected. I already knew that. All I can remember from what they told me on that day, in an overriding sense of disbelief, that their words, their intentions were not real. Surely. When they showed me the state-of-the-art operating theater located in one of the outhouses, the truth and the intention slammed into me. Adrenaline flooded my body like a horse at the starting line. But there was nowhere to run, no hiding place. My father and the surgeon made sure of that. When the day of my surgery arrived, I was resigned into it. I was now 16. I'd had a year to get used to my fate. I longed for a mother, for my old life. But as I lay on the operating table, blinded by the harsh surgery lights, I knew there was no going back.